Hi there, and welcome to a new PHP programming tutorial. So in the previous video we had a very quick look at Visual Studio Code, XAMPP, and today we are going to have a quick look at GIT, and we will start working on learning the language. So first thing, I'm gonna close this folder, okay, and then I will open a new one. So just navigate to XAMPP, htdocs, and I would just say test02, there you go, and select this folder. Okay, so very straightforward so far. Just to make things a little bit easier on ourselves, just go view terminal, there you go. So I will write down the following: git init, and the reason for this is that this command will allow us to create a repository or a database to store file changes there. So let's go here, go to this one, and you can see there is a hidden folder called .git, and all the changes will be stored there when we want to save them. Okay, so let's have a look. So first thing, I want to add a file. I'll call it f1.txt, enter, and I will say this is the first file. Now this text file, obviously, and you see there's this thing here, right? So source control, one pending changes. What that means that there is one file that has been changed, actually created, and we need to tell Git later on if we want to save this or not. Okay, so let's add another one. There's gonna be f2.txt, enter, and this is the second file. Very straightforward, and you have what? You have this one. Now let's say that you create these two files and you want to save the changes. These files are saved on disk, but you want to save them in the Git repository so that when you make changes, you can track their history, maybe go to a previous version or something like that. So what you have to do, you could either you could actually come here and it will show that the list of files changed, and yeah, this is the first commit, there you go, and I would just say click here, and it will ask me if I want to stage all of the changes. Well, basically what it does, it take the changed files, stage them, and then commit the changes. I'm not sure why it needs to stage these files, but basically this is how it does things. It will take the files you want, stage them, and commit them. If files are not staged, they won't be committed. Okay, so in other words, they won't be saved in the repository. So now I will stage them, and it is asking me to set the username and so on. So I don't know how to do this from command line. So I'll go to the folder, right click, and say git GUI. There is certainly a command line for this, but I don't know what that is. Sorry. Anyway, I will go, let me see, tools, remote, merge, commit, options, edit options, let me see. Wow. Anyway, so the username, okay, notes, yeah, so this is it. This is basically things, and the username and the email address. It asked me for these, So this need to be done once, I think. So save it. And now, by the way, let me show you this. It shows you the same thing. So these are the state changes, and I can write text here, commit the change, but I want to do it in Visual Studio Code. So now let me just hit this one, and the changes are finished. So you can see here there's nothing. And what that means that since this point on, there is no changes to the files. Okay, so here I will add a line of code. I am adding some text, enter into the second file, and I will save it. And when I do, what do you see here? You see 1, which means the file has been modified. So you have one file modified. Previously it was a new file and we had a different code. So let me go here. I add this one here, 3.txt, and enter. I'll say this is the third file, and I will save here. Okay, so if you have a look, what do you have? You have M, which means there is a modification, modified, and U, it means untracked, which means this is a new file and the repository doesn't track it, doesn't know what to do with it. So I'm just showing you this. So I will cancel this file. I will just delete it, move to recycle bin. There you go. So I just have one file and it is modified. Okay, so now I'll go here and just say I changed the f2 file, for example, and I hit commit. I will say always, so that I always track the changes. It doesn't bother me this way. So now I made 2 changes. Okay, I think this is very straightforward. Now we have 2 commits, the first commit and the second, and we can actually let me see if I can view them. Source control, wait a minute, I will show you the following. If you go to the directory here and open the Git GUI and go to repository and visualize master repository, you will see this. You can see something like this. So let me explain. This is the first commit. It is showing you what the first changes that has been made. Okay, so this is the first commit. It has these 2 files. Okay, and it is done by this user on this time. And this is the second commit. It includes modifying this file, as you can see. Okay, and yeah, it's as simple as that. So let me go back here, choose F1 and F2. Yeah, so it's very helpful to know what have been done to the source code, but this is not the most important thing. There are more things to that. Okay, so now we have these 2, right? These 2 files. Now let's say I want to keep this one as it is and try to add some feature. Let's assume that this is a working project, and let's assume I want to add extra features in a way that doesn't affect the main project. And if everything works fine and the tests are good and so on, I want to merge my work back to the main project. Okay, in other words, I want to keep the original work of the project as it is without modification. And I want at the same time add a feature. So whenever I want to go back to the original version, I can do that. Whenever I want to go back to the modified version, I could do that. So what to do? So let me go to this one and let me see here, what is it? View as a tree. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is not it. Sorry. I think it should be view source control repositories. This is it, I think. Yeah. So we have this one. Let me see more actions. Check out commit push branch. Okay. So here I am going to say create a branch. Okay. I think I could do it from this one right away. Let me see. Oh yeah. So I will say create a branch. Okay. And when I say create a branch, it's asking me the branch name. So I will call this adding F3 branch. Okay, so in this branch I will add a new file and I will hit enter. Okay, so now I want to show you something. If I go back to the folder, right, and where's this one? Samp htdocs, where is it? Test2, git GUI here, and go to repository, visualize all the branch history. Okay, so you can see here that now I have adding F3 branch and I'm having master. So there are two branches now. So let's do a few changes. Before that, if you go down here, what do you have? You have this one saying that I am at the adding F3 branch. Okay, meaning that I am modifying this part here in the tree. Okay, it might not make much sense here, but stay with me, it will be clear in a minute. So here I'm gonna say this is f3.text. Okay, I just added file f3. Okay, and we save this one, and let's assume that this is all the changes we need, and I will just commit the changes. Oh, I forgot to add the message. Yeah, added f3, then commit. There you go. So let's have a look again, and is there a way to refresh? Refresh. Update, yeah. So now what do you see? You can see now the master is separated from adding F3 branch, because this one is staying at this point, you know, just 2 commits. This one has 3 commits. Okay, so let me add more changes. Okay, so now F3 also added some text. Enter. Added text to F3. Save all and commit. Okay, that's fine. Now go back F5. Okay, so you can see now this is the branch is in here. Okay, that's fine. So now let's say let me go back. You can see now these files I am changing more and more, adding text to F1. I save, adding more text to F2, then save. Okay, now let's go back here and more updates to the code, and I will just commit the changes, and let us see. I'll just refresh this again. Okay, more updates to the code. As you can see, with each commit, you can see these nodes showing what happened basically. Okay, so let's say that, well, it turned out that these changes that I did were bad to the code or are not very useful. So maybe I want, for some reason, to go back to the original code. Okay, so now I could do the following. Let me see if I could, yeah, I could go to checkout to. Now the command checkout here allows me to switch between repositories. So I'll click this one, and I am at the adding F3 branch, and you could know that because it's shown here. I could go back to master. So when I do that, check what happens. I click this one, and you can see there's a dash on F3. And let me show you the files. So I have only two files. This is the first file, and the changes are gone. And this is the second file, and also the changes I added are gone. And the reason for that is that I told Git that I want to work at the version in the master branch. Okay? Does that? I hope that makes sense. Right now, what I did is that I switched from this line of code changes to this line right here. So let me show you what happens next. What can I do? Okay, so this change is done by master. Okay, because this is the master branch, and I will save it. Go here and changed of one by master. There you go, and I will hit commit. There you go. So I made these changes. Now let me show you what happens, and press F5. So now it's changed. Now they are different. So you can see the display has been updated because the master now is very different from this one. Previously, branch adding F3 branch, this one was only was almost the same as master, just adding files and updates to it. But now they are very different because there has been changes to the master. So there is no point which they match together. Okay, so now they are separate. They're already separated branches, but now you can distinguish that they are separate, right? So let's create more changes in the master and see what happens. Okay, so let's go to F2, let's say. Added this text by master, and I save this. Added text to F2 by master, and yeah, now let's go back here and refresh again. Okay, as you can see, right? So let's say that everything works fine here. Okay, so and I mean in the previous changes I said that I wanted to go back to master. I don't want to continue on adding things in here. Okay, but let's say now this is different situation, that I want to merge these changes back with master. Okay, let's say that these changes are accurate and I want to merge them with master. Okay, so how do I do that? Okay, so basically I could go here. I think there should be merge branch. So here it's saying select a branch to merge from. So I am currently in master, so I could merge from adding F3 branch to master. So I'll do this. I'll select here. Okay, so a number of things happened, and it's telling me what's happening there. What it tries is basically to combine the files that has been changed together, and if combining them doesn't cause a problem, everything will go fine. However, if there is a conflict between the files, it will ask you what to do, right? So here it's asking me there are merge conflicts, resolve before committing, okay? And basically this happened because I made changes on the same files in two different branches in the same location, okay? So it's asking me what to do. So this is the current change added by master, and this is the change by the second branch, adding more text to F2. So I could accept the current branch, meaning I only keep what's in the master here. Accept incoming change, meaning that I will only keep adding F3 branch, or accept both. So I'm gonna accept both the way they are. Okay, very straightforward. Okay, so I will save this one. Okay, next I will go here. Now this is something similar. I will just say accept both changes. It doesn't always make sense to accept both changes, but basically this is the idea. So now let's go. Let me go back here. Sorry. Let me see. What also do we have? Stage changes. Okay. Yeah. Merge both. Okay, I think everything's fine, so I will just commit these. Oh, it didn't merge. Wait a minute. Both modified. Merge changes and what? Stage the changes. Okay, and stage these changes. Okay, I forgot to stage them. Yeah. Okay, so now all staged, and now I just commit them. Okay, so the commit's finished. So what we have now, the work that we did in the branch is now merged into the master branch. Okay, so if we have a look at the files, so this is the first file. This change is done by master, and this actually is done by the old branch. Okay, and F2, this added this text by master, adding more text to F2, this is done by the branch, and this is F3. Okay, yeah, so if I go back here and visualize things, okay, so what do you see? You can see that the branches, the master went this way, the branch went this way, it added the file f3, added some text, made some updates to the files, and the master made an update to the files as well, and then both of them are combined together to give us the final master. Okay, so what that means that you could actually make your source code branch, okay, and a number of developers will work on these branches, and later on whenever a developer finishes a functionality, it is possible to merge their changes to the master source code. So in a way this allows for parallel development of the code. Okay, you don't have to wait for programmer A to finish A and B and C functionality before adding your things, right? Assuming that the functionalities are independent, right? There's no dependency between them. So it's very cool thing. And also it actually allows you to, let's say, go back in time and make some changes. So I could, for example, go back to this point and actually I could create a new branch from here, okay, and work on that. So one of the things I do, I keep a version of the code, and whenever, let's say, I need to, let's say there is an old installation of the source code and I want to change something, I could go to that point, create a branch and see the code at that point, and maybe do some modifications to fix something without upgrading the system or the project. Very straightforward. Okay, so I guess this will be all about Git that we need to know. Uh, okay, so I suppose now we could start with our PHP tutorial. Okay, this was all preparing things and helping you understand the tools, and now we just dig in, I suppose. Right. Uh, So how long? Yeah, it has been about 26 minutes. Okay, well, actually, maybe we should stop here and start tomorrow with PHP, so that you won't be distracted or confused by this. Uh, you don't have to use Git, but it will make our life much easier. Yeah. So I suppose that will be all for today. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.